time, Canada has changed.
You can't avoid it. It's kind of like everywhere. Turn on the TV, turn on the radio. Well, the country is becoming asocial. So we're just like, okay, let's go.
Дорога была полна приключений.
Russia is a safe haven, just like Noah's Ark. It's a wonderful place to raise your children and to be a normal family.
We have 7 children: Selena, Milena, Magdalena, Angelina, Adriana, Dominic, and Milan. Network administration. The other one was in political science. So I went to Ottawa to work for the government, and I was thinking to become a policy analyst. But unfortunately, because of my French, which was at the time wasn't very good, like I couldn't find a job. And then I switched to IT, and I realized I can actually make more money, and the job is so much better, to just be an IT guy. So I decided to do that, and that was a very good choice. But we realized that this COVID crazy pandemic was starting, and we didn't want to get vaccinated, so we would lose our jobs. If you didn't even wear a mask, like people were like shouting at you. That actually happened to me. I was getting off of the platform, and some older lady started screaming at me, and I'm gonna like kill somebody with not obeying the rules. Although the rules were not mandatory, it was like a recommendation, but still.
When we first immigrated to Canada, it seemed like a nice place. It's still a very nice place. The nature is also very beautiful, but I think with time, Canada has changed from being somewhat of a pleasant country to live in nowadays. Like when you have a family and you are more conservative, it's difficult to raise a family.
Well, the country is becoming asocial, and that's unfortunate because it's feminism, it's these strange values. Men are being, and women, a lot of people are lonely, they have problems with depression, anxiety, they're uncomfortable with, men are uncomfortable with other men. Well, I just found that strange, how different Canada was from something I actually expected. But even at the beginning, we absorbed a lot of this. It's just like we realized that we want something else for ourselves and for our family, for our children.
The schooling has changed, and just people are forced to accept certain things that perhaps they don't want to accept. We wanted for our children to be raised in a more normal society. And Canada, I think Canada is, for the lack of words, has changed so much that when you're the average family with a father and mother and children, it's you're unable to raise your kids there because there's a lot of LGBT parades and other influences like that.
You can't avoid it. It's kind of like everywhere. Like from let's say you turn on the TV, you turn on the radio, and it's the voices, who they hire, the way people dress. It's much more subtle, so people don't realize how imposing it is. It's like ideological colonization, and a very good one. So like people just are absorbing this without actually noticing what they're doing to them or to their children.
Certain people that come into the school, like drag queens, and are reading stories to children, and it's like you are expected to accept this. And like I, as an Orthodox, cannot accept that because it's unnatural.
We didn't like that. I think it's not natural, and we don't want to burden our children with these discussions, ideas, questions about identity. It's not necessary.
Kids perhaps don't need to go to the lessons, but how are you going to raise a child in a society where everybody else around you is doing something or accepting something, and then you're supposed to stick out and say no? So what kind of future do the children have?
We also were thinking about moving already, so we were just like, okay, let's go,
My husband's father, he passed away. So then he flew to his funeral to Croatia and spent a week there. And then one day we were talking and I realized that he'll want to move to Croatia. We actually moved from Canada to Croatia, but in the end it didn't show to be a good choice because we were experiencing same problems with some school issues, and some of our oldest daughter, she was bullied also at school.
Our family kind of got sick. My dad had pneumonia, and then our little brother Miki caught it as well. So we went to the hospital to make sure the other kids were fine. There it turned out to be a problem because they said, oh, we can only accept 3 kids, that's the maximum. And then at the end she's like, okay, fine, whatever, we'll take it, we'll take the rest of the kids. And then she filed a complaint because of the amount of kids. And also because she saw that Adriana was not vaccinated from birth.
So there was an argument and she said, well, you discriminate against big families. And then just kind of like all hell broke loose, and they called the social services, and social services came to visit us, and then they called us for an interview. They told us that they'll take away our parental rights. Also, one doctor told us that children are not ours, they're not our property. And we were just like, okay, so this is not good. And my wife was crying, that was very difficult 2 months for us. And we were looking into Belarus, Russia.
We planned to keep quiet because we knew that if we talked to anybody about this, it could spread. And also because we had social services over. We just knew that if we told any of the kids, it could become risky. That pushed us from Croatia.
We were thinking like Jesus was a migrant at one time. He also fled to Egypt, and I'm like, maybe we'll be in that position as well. Those are discussion in Canada and Croatia.
Anything that's worth something is difficult because if you just stay, nobody likes to move outside of their comfort zone. I mean, in all honesty, I don't think most people like to move. They have their home and their friends and it's comfortable, and sometimes we might not like everything around us, but we're gonna just stay because it's comfortable. But I think for the children for their future, it was the most important thing to make this change. That's why we wanted to come to Russia, because we've seen that it seems to be a more natural place and more normal for children.
Это было обращение сначала по электронной почте. Семья спрашивала нас о том, могли бы мы их принять на территории нашего региона. Писали о том, что они планируют в кратчайшие сроки покинуть Хорватию, о том, что их преследуют социальные службы. И они спрашивали, какой необходим пакет документов, соответственно, взять с собой, чтобы переехать к нам в страну.
as we entered Russia, like we were so happy just like to be on the Russian side. And the ladies who were there actually helped us with all the things, with all the paperwork.
Ой, у них дорога была полна приключений. Они приехали на границу, забыли поменять деньги. То есть они приехали с евро. Они подъехали к границе, сказали, что мы на границе уже, встречайте нас. У нас зашел разговор про деньги, мы им сказали, что в евро такую сумму перевозить нельзя, что могут ее отнять. И они вернулись обратно в Эстонию для того, чтобы можно было вернуть деньги. Мы ждали их на границе, встречали и сразу уже сопровождали. Мы заблаговременно готовились к приезду этой семьи.
You know, once we crossed the border, we were so relieved because we were afraid that somebody might say on the Polish or Latvian side, well, you know, you can't cross, you know, because, you know, like we're kidnapping our own children or something like that. So it was a relief, but still we were not sure, you know, it was dark, it was during the night until the very next morning, and then we realized, you know, like, yeah, we like it here, and the people were nice to us.
Был предоставлен на месяц санаторий, то есть это отдельный домик. Мы это сделали для того, чтобы они могли отдохнуть, во-первых, с дороги и немножко адаптироваться, хотя бы понять, где вообще они находятся.
One of our friends, really good friends, he said, "You must be on drugs or you are crazy."
Well, because of all this propaganda, you're thinking about Russia like it's like the way it was portrayed is like this scary place, but actually for us it was a relief.
It was important to come to a smaller place. We don't really like big cities and all the traffic and everything, and we felt that Pskov was the right place because of its size and because of all the churches and monasteries. I was Catholic for a long time, and then I converted in Croatia. Yes, to Orthodoxy. I feel it was the right thing to do with everything that I experienced. It's just so different. It's like for the lack of words. It's like unexplainable, like the love and the liturgy, the service. I don't know how to put it into words.
В целом, за 4 месяца 2025 года, мы смотрели срез с января по конец апреля, к нам переехало более 350 человек. Мы берем сейчас только европейские страны. Если говорить про 702-й указ президента, то это Канада, Хорватия, Бельгия и Ирландия. С Ирландией у нас уже 4 семьи проживают на территории региона. Основная причина переезда исключительно всех семей, которые переезжают к нам в регион, это спасение детей. Спасают от ювенальной юстиции, едут к чему? Едут к сохранению семейных, культурных и традиционных и духовных ценностей.
How often you visited church and services?
We go weekly to church, and sometimes, if possible, some other days. Yeah, it's a beautiful church, and the people, the community is so wonderful.
No, I don't consider it as as a downgrade. No, I don't. I really love the nature. People, in many countries there are good and bad people, for sure. But there is a higher percentage of nicer people I see here.
I feel that the children have the possibility to be more free and just to be children. They don't have to worry about who they are, you know. We can just have a regular childhood. I see how also the children are able to attend other activities here in Russia, where, for example, gymnastics or any other sport. Like, they're affordable. Meanwhile, where in Canada we were looking at gymnastics, it was like $800 for one child. And we have 5 girls. So let's just say if all of them wanted to go, I mean, even for one, it's quite expensive.
Богородичные иконы нерушимую стали стеной, и звучат колокольные звоны, зов небес над долю земной.
They learned a few songs, yeah. За тихой рекой, and there are some others, but mostly they were singing Serbian Orthodox ethno songs in the church over there. And but this was like our way to involve them into something, you know.
Распустится первый весенний цветок, и я загадаю желание попроще, и перекрестившись, взгляну на восток.
Like, it's not our native country, but like we still feel there is a connection, you know, with our faith, with Orthodoxy, like with people who share the same faith. But just in general, like, people are quite nice, and since we came, we feel very comfortable, and you know, like the things that we're looking for are there, you know.
Many people think it's actually dangerous in Russia, but it's not. From what we've experienced, the children go by themselves on the bus with no problem. They walk the streets, and actually even walking late. We see many small children walking all around the city, so I feel very safe for our children to do the same. So the girls are going to be going to an Orthodox school here. My husband will be starting his job soon, perhaps next week, God willing. And hopefully we can move to just a regular home. And yeah, we want to just be a part of the Russian society.
Поздравляю.
Спасибо.
Поздравляю.
Поздравляем вас и добро пожаловать домой.
Спасибо.
Они получили разрешение на временное пребывание на территории региона. Это очень важно для семьи. Во-первых, это позволит трудоустроиться официально на работу. Стевимира уже сегодня пригласили на одно из предприятий нашего региона. Именно по своей специальности, по кибербезопасности он будет работать. У него 1 июля первый рабочий день. Это позволит всей семье оформить медицинский полис обязательного медицинского страхования, что позволит получать качественную медицинскую помощь. Ну и, конечно, мы готовимся к очень важному этапу для всей семьи. Это поступление в школу. Мы уже выбрали православную гимназию, в которой будут учиться сразу 5 девочек из семьи. Сейчас с детьми занимается преподаватель православной гимназии русским языком 2 раза в неделю, интенсивно, по 2 часа в день проходит обучение русскому языку, причем не сразу всех 5 детей. Мы деток разделили на 2 группы и вот занимаемся, готовимся к экзаменам.
They will put me back to 9th grade because I believe there is you get to choose whether you want to continue or you want to go to college. Well, I heard the schools are hard, but I don't believe that it can be that hard as they make it seem. I think if we just kind of let it flow, that it'll just go, like, go with the flow, basically.
How is your Russian?
I'm working on it, but I can say that I can communicate well enough to understand people. I'm peaceful. God is with me. I'm peaceful. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to be worried about. Like, there's a saying in English, like, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. So basically, I'm just gonna focus on finishing 9th grade, and then when we finish that, we'll see what we will continue.
You know, we don't have some lofty goals, and we don't, you know, we just want to like work, live, and let our children grow and prosper. Here I see like this is like you can do so much, like from music to sports, like, you know, the church choir, schools are good.
We have a house in Croatia, but we'll see if it sells, and God willing it sells, and then we can think of, we would like to buy a house. I would prefer perhaps like a little bit on the outskirts, like maybe in a little village or something. Like, it's good for the kids to have a bit more space around them, but we'll see.
For me, the most important thing is that wherever I go, or let's say we go, that family is the most important. It doesn't matter where, family.
We as Orthodox, we also believe in these prophecies about Russia being the third Rome and being like the ark of salvation of the last day. So I think increasingly, you know, people will see Russia as like a safe place and a place to raise children and family.
Happy Easter, everybody. Christos Voskres. Christ is risen. Welcome to Nizhny Novgorod, a city where the great Volga and the Oka rivers meet. It has several titles, but I like to call it the City of Families. I have been here several times, but during Easter week we took a little excursion here with our whole family. It's one of our favorite cities in Russia, and I hope that one day too you will be able to visit this magnificent city. Join us.
До скончания века. Аминь. Господу от Матфея Святого Евангелия чтение. Во время оно единено 10.
This will be a very brief video, but we were invited to witness the procession of the Holy Cross at the Makaryev Monastery or Women's Convent during Easter week. I'll just show you a few minutes of what it was like. It was a very beautiful and edifying experience. And we went with several foreigners, including Fabrice Sorlin and his family, Sasha Meets Russia, and several Western families and people that already call Nizhny Novgorod their home. Germans, Canadians, and even Americans.
Правый шумите, ветры гудите, Христос воскресе, радость принесе. Травы шумите, ветры гудите, Христос воскресе, радость принесе. Воды журчите, звери рычите, Христос воскресе.